Good evening, folks. Tom Simon, Realtor here. You're listening to Simon After Dark, the show where I take your calls on home repair. Before we take our first call, I'm obligated by the FCC to mention that this show is paid programming, and any views I express are not shared by WKTT or its affiliate stations. I'm also obligated by my attorneys to tell you that I'm not an expert on home repairs or improvements, and therefore not liable for any advice given. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go to the phones. Line 1 is Rob. Rob, you're first on the program.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
What can I help you with tonight?
Well, I want to do some remodeling in my basement to turn it into a game room, but we usually get some water coming in a couple of times a year.
Rob, that's a very common problem, especially in low-lying areas.
So what are my options here? Some of my friends are saying I need a sump pump.
If you want to go that route, you might as well throw out those pool table catalogs.
I'm aware of the expense. I just wondered if you'd had any experience with them.
I've seen them used in some of the houses that I've shown, but don't forget that groundwater can contain toxic metals, especially in mining regions, and now you're pumping that into your community sewage system.
Wouldn't that just go into the basement?
Let's not underestimate the filtration properties of concrete block foundation here.
I appreciate the advice, Tom. Thanks.
Thanks for calling, Rob. Let's see who's on line 2. James.
Hi, Tom. How are you tonight?
Not bad, James. So what's going on?
Well, with winter coming up, I wanted to upgrade the insulation in my attic, and I was wondering whether you would recommend blown-in type or the fiberglass rolls.
Neither. I always swear by this very cost-effective solution. Every neighborhood has the house in the yard with the overgrown grass, the rusted junk, and the strange smells coming from the inside.
Yeah, I think so, but...
These places can be a great source for old newspapers, which, when shredded and piled, can add up to 1 R value per 4 inches.
Isn't that a fire hazard?
I think the longevity of the house you take it from will speak for itself.
I guess I see your point, but I have a shallow roof. It sounds like I'd need to fill up the entire attic.
Exactly. And if safety is a concern, make sure all of your electrical junctions are properly wrapped in tape.
Not a problem. They're all in junction boxes.
That's a little overkill, but it'll work. Anything else tonight, James?
Nah, not tonight, Tom.
Thanks for the call. Remember, listeners, don't stake your heating bills on a cartoon jungle cat. Let's get Dan on the line. You're on the air, Dan.
Thanks, Tom.
What's on your mind?
Well, recently I finally got around to ripping out some wallpaper that was in my bathroom for years, and it looks like we have a real mold problem.
Dan, I hope you stopped working right away.
Oh, of course, and we've been using the other...
Because wallpaper is a sadly underutilized treatment these days.
Well, we decided to get rid of it. I was just wondering if this is like something a general contractor could handle, or if we should call a mold specialist.
I think you should call an interior decorator. A good one would agree that paint or tile cannot achieve the types of patterns that can be had with... Dan! It looks like we lost Dan. Well, I hope he's still listening. Guys, wallpaper was once a luxury, often imported from faraway lands by the aristocracy. Don't go tearing it out, because you never know when this whole paint fad will run its course. Let's go to Eddie.
Tom!
Hey?
It's Eddie!
Go ahead, Eddie.
Hi, Tom. I'm in the process of selling my house. We had a buyer lined up, but the inspector found evidence of termites, so they backed out. I had to take it off the market for now, and I have an exterminator coming in, but in the meantime, where should I be looking for damage?
2 words, Eddie. As is. Don't let another inspector near the place. Make it your buyer's problem.
Won't I have to bring down the price significantly?
Eddie, we could be talking serious structural deficiencies here. You don't want to be on the hook for that. Move any furniture, appliances, and children to a separate storage location while you try to unload the place.
I'd rather see if that's necessary first. So, should I be looking at the joists or under the main floor, or do they tend to get behind the wall, or...
I have a better idea. Leave your number with the station manager, and I'll hook you up with a guy who can make your termite problem disappear.
So you know a good exterminator?
Something like that. Folks, please, it's like these inspectors exist solely to block all real estate transactions. I'm no economist, but I blame them for the housing market crash of 2008. Whether you're selling a house, a car, or a pair of loafers, you let somebody start poking around in there, and all of a sudden they smell something rotten. Back to line one. Vinny.
Hey, Tom. Glad to see you back.
Thanks, Vinny. What are you working on?
Well, I have this collection of antique dolls, and I was wondering...
Come on, Vinny. We don't have time for crank calls.
Oh, no, it's not like that. See, I need to build a shelf, and I was wondering if you...
And you want to know if my refrigerator is running.
I just wanted to know if the weight will be enough that I need to drill into the studs.
And I need to know what kind of cheese the moon's made out of. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but thanks to jokesters, we only have time left for Tom's takeaways. I got 4 takeaways from tonight's program. Number 1, in cases of incoming water, pumping that lead and sulfur into your community's supply should be a last resort. Number 2, the only fancy brand names that should be on your insulation are in the ad section of the Sunday paper. Number 3, have you ever spilled wallpaper all over the living room rug? Didn't think so. And number 4, home inspectors are the prison rats of real estate. Only problem is they never seem to get shanked in the yard. That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for an hour of dead air followed by the morning show.